Now I'm at the point you wanna be with me. I'm vibing out at a higher frequency, cause everything that I want and I'm gonna be, it's when I wake up, that's when I start to dream. Someone you love is talking down, here is the plan. Let it fall through like a handful of sand. Nothing happens overnight, what you must understand. If you dwell on the bad, then you don't stand a chance. Something you want upset, saying why it ain't mine yet. That's because now you have yet to change your mindset. People don't put their mind to rest while they're so wired. A lot of people go to sleep and wake up tired. Power of positivity and persistence. Say that I can, we'll just sit back and witness. Make an impact when our time is done. Make money, help people, and have lots of fun. Whoa.
Welcome to Office Hours, hosted by legendary sports executive, entrepreneur, and investor David Meltzer, where the brightest entrepreneurial minds in business, sports, and entertainment get together to talk about success, failure, and everything in between.
At the end of the day, man, we've got to condition ourselves to make the right choices and give us the power over the external circumstances instead of the external circumstances having power over us.
And once you do that, you start to figure out, hey, I can do this, and maybe I can do this, and then your self-esteem grows.
The truth is, change can be hard, growth can be scary, but nothing is as hard and scary as being stuck somewhere you don't belong.
Take a deep dive into the mind of some of the world's most impactful guests.
Growth doesn't come by talking a lot. Growth comes by listening, by learning, by being curious.
You'll upgrade your knowledge, your skills, your habits, and you'll upgrade your beliefs, so that you believe that you can do this.
You will succeed. You just have to believe in yourself and never stop trying.
To share their strategies and tools to dominate their respective fields.
The most important thing is really to work on yourself. It all starts and work on your mind.
And I said, if you can get 1% better every day, by the end of the month, you have 33%. Tell me a business you can earn 33% a month. So it's a great investment.
I'm not attached to my career, my notoriety, my financial success. I'm not attached to it. I have no self-worth tied up in Gary Vee or Gary Vaynerchuk, the entrepreneur. My self-worth is fully and utterly 100% attached to how I treat human beings.
Issue where you save time is that if you really know your why, right, then why are you doing it? Are you doing a career because your parents said that's what success is?
David Meltzer hosts Office Hours.
Can you hear me okay? It's TM to DM, and man, thank you so much for including me in that crowd. I will tell you the inverse of the Monday comment, where we want to be in rooms where people sit in a situation that we want to be in, so that they can give us directions. It's the fastest way to get there. It's their Monday, it's your dream, and might as well make it your Monday and not have to pay the dummy tax. But the other side of it too is that you hold a position of helping and being able and capable of helping others do the same. That one of the wishes for everyone is that your reality surpasses other people's imagination. And when your reality surpasses other people's imagination, you can be that steward, that anchor, that direction, that signage of divine direction to help other people get to where they want to be as well. And we know that when we're able and capable of helping other people, we're at our highest self. We are closest to God. And TM to DM in Friday mornings. What a great privilege and pleasure it is to join this incredible frequency, the Breakfast of Champions. Thank you, TM. Have a wonderful weekend, my brother.
You too, my friend. Thank you.
You got it. All right. Today, we are still rocking and rolling 28 years in a row, free Friday trainings. And we've been doing this a long time in different ways, but we don't miss a week because of consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of our potential is how we get to where we want to be or better. Today's training is the hidden cost of worry, WORRY. I'm sure nobody here worries at all. It's a wasted emotion, which we'll get into. It's an interfering emotion. It's a duplicative negative in a non-duality world, which we'll get into as well. But before we rock and roll on Friday mornings, I want to introduce our future. He is a young steward himself. He is maturing in our presence as these years are going by. The incredible Nick of Wam, the well-oiled machine. Can you go ahead and rock the room and set it for us?
Absolutely, and it's always a pleasure and honor to be here with you, David, let alone the incredible community that we have everywhere as we are live online on every single platform, let alone live here in the Breakfast with Champions, the best room and community on Clubhouse. And welcome everybody, as David had mentioned. Today's topic for training is the hidden cost of worry. So for everybody joining us, if you guys would like the guide and exercise from David, all you need to do is email him directly, david@dmeltzer.com. And while you are emailing David, make sure to get your copy of his new book, which is Don't Do Business with Dicks. Absolutely flying off the shelves, whether it's Barnes & Noble, Amazon, or at dmeltzer.com/book. Or /order, excuse me. And when you do get that copy of the book, all you got to do is let David know. He doesn't need a receipt. He trusts your word. But the reason he wants to know is so we can send you the rest of his books completely for free. Send you a copy, sign a copy, and even pay for shipping. All you got to do, ladies and gentlemen, david@dmeltzer.com. And last but most certainly not least, before we get rocking and rolling with the hidden cost of worry training, we of course want to invite but not obligate everybody in our community to join us as we are on the road. Over 200 opportunities every single year. We're calling it the Car Wash as we take it across the world, which is a community meetup, holding court, interview, keynote speech, VIP dinner, mastermind, TV show, and everything in between. So if you would like to come catch us with the next Car Wash, come to Orange County, California next week for our Car Wash Mastermind and VIP dinner. Then we're going to be off to Viva Las Vegas for Office Hours TV show season number 10. Of course, another Car Wash there. Then off to New York City, Red Bank, New Jersey, another Car Wash at both locations. Phoenix, Arizona with the pro athlete community, then even off to Augusta, Georgia for the Masters Mastermind, ladies and gentlemen. If you would like the reminders on all of these invitations, but not obligations, over 200 times a year, all you need to do is text us at 949-298-2905. Once again, just 949-298-2905. Now, without further ado, Mr. Meltzer, turning it back over to you so we can rock and roll with the hidden cost of worry training.
All right, let's hear it for the Wammer. That's a well-oiled machine. Check out our fastest growing podcast, the Well-Oiled Machine Podcast, where we go through our own calendar and give the subtleties of success and the usage of time. If you're interested in being more productive, more accessible to others, and access what you want receiving, and gracious, being able to find the light, the love, and the lessons, have the perspective of happiness and success, come and join Nick and I on the Well-Oiled Machine Podcast. Thank you, Nick of Wam. Let's get right into it. Worry, the duplicative negative. Worry often disguises itself as responsibility. We tell ourselves that thinking about every possible outcome means we are being prepared, or strategic, or even cautious. But in reality, excessive worrying quietly interferes with some of our most valuable resources: our infinite intuition, our infinite intelligence, our infinite inspiration, our infinite energy, creativity, even our focus is interfered with when we worry. Strategic foresight is extremely valuable. To have a divine direction so that not only are we disciplined, but we are devotional in what we do, say, think, feel, and believe. We are not just disciplined working and forget to make money. We're not just disciplined working and forget to spend time with our family. We're not just disciplined working and forget to spend time on our health. But planning matters. But when concern turns into constant anxiety about the divine direction, about the future, about the outcomes, about the evidence that isn't there or is contrary to where we want to be, this strategic foresight, it stops helping us and it starts limiting us. It starts holding us back. It impedes our own self-image. As entrepreneurs, creators, investors, leaders, our success depends on how we direct not only our attention, but our intention of what we do, say, think, feel, and believe, to be devotional in our divine direction. When we focus our attention and give our intention on imagined problems, we interfere with the infinite intuition, intelligence, inspiration, and energy, creativity, and focus required to find the real solutions, the resolutions. This training today, which I will make available to everyone if you just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. That's David, which means beloved, at D is my first initial, Meltzer means servant. David@dmeltzer.com. This training, which I'll provide to you, explores how worrying affects our decision making, our trajectory, our creativity, our inspiration, intuition, and intelligence, and even our ability to take action. More importantly, it will show us how we can redirect our own energy in a divine direction, devotionally, towards progress, clarity, opportunity, options, and touches of favor. The first lesson of the hidden costs of worry is worry interferes with our infinite amount of energy. You know, a lot of professional athletes, current ones, will ask to shadow me. And I'll take them, tell them to meet me at 4 o'clock and take them through my entire day up until 5 p.m. And then I let them go. It is amazing, by 4 p.m., the majority of them are either sleeping in the backseat of my car or exhausted. And they always ask me, Mr. Meltzer, you're obviously not younger than I. You're obviously not stronger, faster, or in better shape than I. How is it that you have more energy than I do? Well, it's simple. We all have an infinite amount of energy. It's number one, what you're doing to interfere with it. And two, then how young you are, how good of shape you are in the muscles, the strength, the fitness, the endurance. Those all matter to utilize the energy, because nobody has a body, an embodiment that can utilize all of the infinite energy. So we're regulated at a maximum limitation by our bodies, but most people don't need to have that maximum because they can't handle the energy, and they're interfering with it. Our mental energy is one of the most valuable resources that we have. When we spend an inordinate amount of time worrying, the duplicative negative, worrying, interfering with the infinite, and wishing for what we don't want. When we spend our time worrying about hypothetical problems that usually don't manifest themselves, we are interfering with our energy that could otherwise be utilized in solving real ones and resolutions, the resolution, because we know every problem, the solution is already there. It's just the lapse of time, and your worrying lengthens that time, doesn't shorten that distance of resistance that we create with worrying. We spend hours thinking about the future, hours thinking and attaching to outcomes that never will manifest themselves, materialize, or monetize. We thinking about our competitors and potential setbacks, mistakes, worries about the void, shortages, and obstacles ahead, instead of paying attention and giving intention on improving our products, our services, our solutions, how to better serve our clients with what they like, what they don't like, taking away that, what they need, it's working, it's not working, what they know, what they don't know, and strengthening our bond, not between us and the worry, but the bond between us and our relationships, strengthening the relativity of others, the association of others, and the feeding of others. Worrying interferes with all three of those. Worrying feels like preparation because it takes so much energy away from us. But most of the time, it's simply unproductive interference of mental repetition of what we don't want, reinforced by the subconscious mind that hosts 80% of these worries and are repetitive unconsciously and subconsciously every single day. Identity is limited by how much we worry. We need to identify the worries that require action and separate them from those that don't. Because emotion cannot be changed with logic or analysis. You're just interfering. But this idea of our own emotions can be solved only by one thing, by action. And so we want to separate them from those that do not. And when we separate our emotions that require action, we can solve those worries, and that's preparation compared to just logic and analysis of something that never will happen. So we redirect our attention and our intention towards the productive tasks that we can complete immediately, utilizing the do it now philosophy, which I will send you the do it now exercise. How to prioritize by importance, not urgency. How to prioritize as an antidote to worrying. How to prioritize by utilizing the lenses of productivity, accessibility, and gratitude. When we direct our attention and intention towards productive tasks and prioritize them effectively, that we can complete immediately, we do it now, and we know 100% of the things we do now get done. If you would like the exercise on doing it now, prioritization exercise, email me, david@dmeltzer.com, david@dmeltzer.com. Lesson number 2. Worry reduces our creativity. Creativity requires a ton of open-mindedness, which open-mindedness is mental space. Things are made by space. Music is made not by the notes, but by the space between the notes. If all we had was note, it would just be a monotone sound or frequency. Same thing holds true about your creativity. We need to make room and space for the music. When our minds are filled with anxiety and uncertainty, we are closing the mental space. Our ability to think creativity will be limited and interfered with. A closed mind takes 1,000 times the energy to re-engineer. We need to open our minds. Reducing the anxiety and uncertainty and worry that we have will open the space for creativity. When we hesitate to test new ideas, we're afraid what people will think. Or when we hesitate to experiment with strategies. Think of Thomas Edison. This is not something he was afraid of. But when we hesitate to test new ideas or experiment with strategies because we are focused on what could go wrong rather than what could go right, we wouldn't have electricity. We wouldn't have the telephone. We would not be where we are today if people hesitated. We need to pay attention and give intention, not to what's missing, not what we don't have, not what other people think, not what social media wants for us, but what we desire in our divine direction and what is going to go right. And otherwise, if it does not align with the divine, then we learn the lesson for it and we make it right by learning the lesson for it. Innovation itself thrives in this curiosity and creativity, not in fear. When worry dominates our thinking, creativity, innovation, expansion dissolves, dissipates, and even disappears. We need to create a dedicated time, a non-negotiable time to think about the possibilities, the probabilities, in a positive perspective, so that the solutions are forefront in our intention, not the problems. So the coincidences are aligned with divine solutions of our perspective rather than one of problem perspective. When we write down our new ideas and innovations, whenever we catch ourselves stuck in the anxiety, the fear, the worry, the interference that is closing the mental space, limiting our ability to innovate and create, we can write these ideas down and address them when we are in an open mind, knowing it takes 1,000 times the energy to be creative in a closed mind than it does an open mind. And if you would like the exercise on open-minded questions, open-minded people, please email me for the open-minded exercise, david@dmeltzer.com. Utilize the mental space for creativity, innovation, and divine direction, acceleration, aggregation, and compounding of what you desire, not what's missing, what you don't have, what other people think, or what social media wants for you. Lesson number 3. Worry actually distorts and changes our perception of risk. Everybody should know that we should know our timing and risk tolerance before we engage in a divine trajectory, a divine direction in our devotional behaviors. But even if you align with the timing and risk tolerance in which you strategized on, it is worry that distorts our perception of the risk and will lengthen the time. Worry often exaggerates, amplifies the likelihood of negative outcomes. That's what it does. It will actually amplify the negative outcomes while minimizing the potential upside of our behaviors, our intention of what we do, what we say, what we think, what we feel, and what we believe. So many times we avoid launching a project, or I see so many people that don't share their voice, their frequency, speaking publicly in any capacity, or pursuing a partnership, personal or professional, because they can only imagine the worst possible outcome. They're searching for what they don't want. They're wishing for what they don't want, and they're interfering with what they want. Pay attention to and give intention to the coincidences that you desire, and don't allow the worrying to distort your perception of risk. Stick to your timing and risk tolerance and don't distort it. Most options and opportunities and touches of favor require, I will repeat, uncertainty. Remember, getting something too soon is a challenge as much as not getting it is a promotion. Don't get things too early. Don't want them too early. Allow the opportunities to require the uncertainty, to promote, protect, love, and perfect us through gratitude, to give us the perspective, through forgiveness, to give us ease from the mistakes that we made, and most importantly, to give us accountability, to learn from what we did, to be responsible of this, to attract this, and to participate in the correct perception of risk, not a distorted one through worry. Growth happens when we take thoughtful risk. When we know our timing and risk tolerance, growth will happen. And yes, we'll be disappointed, but we'll never be resentful or guilty and create more aggregation, acceleration, and compounding of guilt and worry. Growth happens when we take these thoughtful risks, when we know our timing and risk tolerance, not when we avoid them, not when we distort them. We must ask ourselves, what is the realistic downside of this? And align it with our timing and risk tolerance. Knowing that if it doesn't work out and aligned with our timing and risk tolerance, we'll only be disappointed. We will not accelerate, aggregate, compound in the wrong trajectory. We will learn lessons and be better, promoted, protected, loved, and perfected. When we align with the timing and risk tolerance and compare that the risk with a long-term or a short-term potential upside, not what is going to go wrong, what's missing, what we don't have, what's other people want, or what social media wants for us. Understanding timing and risk tolerance and understanding how we distort our perception of the timing and risk tolerance through worry is essential to not get to where we want to be or better only, but to allow us not to limit ourselves through guilt, resentment, but only the lessons that disappoint us, but don't stop us, don't limit us. If you would like the timing and risk tolerance guide or exercise within the context of this whole training, more than happy to send you the whole training as well. But these specific exercises I can send to you, please, david@dmeltzer.com. Get your timing and risk tolerance exercise. Changes your life. It's as valuable as perceived value and bottom line exercise. Incredibly valuable in life. All right. Lesson number 4. Every problem has a solution already in it. It's just the lapse of time before we find the resolution, the resolution. But worry, lesson number 4, delays our time, our decisions. Worrying delays, it creates more resistance. It lengthens the lapse of time between the problem and the solution or the resolution. Many opportunities, options, and touches of favor are lost not because of bad decisions. It's a joke. Many opportunities are lost not because of bad decisions, but because decisions were delayed too long. We lost the momentum of the clearance of the interference, the momentum created by the infinite energy, intuition, intelligence, and inspiration. And we delayed it too long, and it wore too long of interference. Many opportunities are lost not because of bad decisions, but because decisions were delayed too long. That's why I wrote a book called Game Time Decision Making. That's why the best quarterbacks in the world process things immediately and make those decisions. They don't delay too long. When we spend months, years analyzing possibilities and researching endlessly, instead of taking the next step forward, instead of doing it now, 100% of the things you do now get done. One of my best friends invented Pictionary, and he has an incredible book, an incredible story. But he literally spent months and years analyzing the possibilities and researching endlessly, and his book was never good enough. I could have written I did write 5 books in the time that he wrote that one. And he could have written 5 books in the amount of time that he spent trying to perfect something that's not perfectible. Progress comes from movement. Nothing happens till it moves. Progress, not perfection, comes from movement. Waiting for a perfect book, a perfect podcast, a perfect piece of content, a perfect wife, a perfect life, waiting for perfect certainty will only lead to missed opportunities, options, and touches of favor, but even worse, missed lessons, missed growth, missed acceleration, aggregation, and compounding of those outcomes that we desire or better in a divine devotional life, a human experience that is bookend by the time your heart starts till the time it stops. Identify the smallest steps, the minimum amount of time that you're committed to every single day. Have your non-negotiable behavior. I give a minimum of 2 minutes a day to my 3 daughters, a minimum of 30 minutes a day to my son, which is going to be decreasing now that he gets his license next week. But 2 minutes a day is worth 2 hours on a Saturday. Time is the quantified measurement of smallest to biggest step. How much time are you dedicating each and every day, 7 days a week, to be intentional and intentional in the divine direction of where you want to be or better by doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing for a minimum amount of time? Minimum amount of time. Doesn't mean I spend 2 minutes a day every day with my daughters. I spend much more most days, but I don't miss a day because 2 minutes a day is worth 2 hours on a Saturday. And so I put a minimum amount of time on my sleep, a minimum amount of time on my health, a minimum amount of time on my family, a minimum amount of time on my faith, a minimum amount of time on my finance, a minimum amount of time studying time, and most importantly, a minimum amount of time studying the meaning, the relativity of my time. And then that gives me the rest of the day to do whatever the heck I want with who I want, when I want, for as long as I want, including adding time to my non-negotiables. Identify the smallest steps that you could take today and every single day and use time as the quantified measurement of how to do so. Not linear length, but time. The two quantifiable things that we can have is assets and our time we spend interfering with the infinite. Finally, if our worries delay our decisions, we want to do the game time decision making, set milestones for decision analysis so that we do not avoid the outcomes that we desire or better, that we learn the lessons, capture the lessons, have a period of time that you study the lessons, attach stories to them so we don't forget the lessons, because life is about lessons and the lessons keep on coming until we learn them. And you're going to forget every lesson there ever was, but you have the power to access every lesson there ever is and will be. And it is this methodology that allows us to make the decisions to move forward, to progress, and not perfect. Nothing happens to you move in time, and your attention and intention dedicated to that time will make shit happen. If you would like the game time decision exercise, email me, david@dmeltzer.com. david@dmeltzer.com. Lesson number 5. Worry interferes with our confidence. It makes us feel comfortable and insecure. And confidence and comfortability is how we determine perceived value. Math is how we determine bottom line, whether it's worth it or not. But confidence is how we determine our perceived value. And the constant worrying, anxiety, interference reinforces the belief that we are unprepared or incapable of handling what's before us. The challenges, the setbacks, the mistakes, the defining moments, the historical relevances that are before us and will always be before us, because it is only uncertainty that is before us, except for the fact that we get 24 hours a day to learn. Every single day of our life, except for the last day, we'll be cheated. That's a certainty. This constant interference of worry, remember that excitement and worry have the exact same frequency. And it's just confidence. It's just confidence that determines how you're going to use that frequency to interfere with or to accelerate, aggregate, and compound your outcomes. And it is preparation that increases our confidence. If you're a speaker and your entire speech is as easy, confident, and comfortable as clapping your hands, imagine the excitement you'll have before you get on stage. But if you're worried, that you're going to tongue twist and tie and fall off stage and your pants will come down or your flies unbutton, you'll be incapable of handling the challenge and you will worry and take on the frequency of a diverted direction, not a divine one. When we hesitate to pursue the options and opportunities in our divine direction, when we are simply just disciplined, rolling a boulder to the top of the hill just to have it roll down like Camus' The Stranger with the myth of Sisyphus. When we hesitate to pursue these opportunities because we are paying attention and giving intention, doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing on everything that could go wrong, instead of remembering, recollecting, and reminding how many challenges we have already overcome. It is the meaning of our past. It is the meaning of the setbacks, failures, mistakes, defining moments, and historical relevances, and even our successes of the past that will allow us to expand our self-image. It is those that will also limit our self-image, and we must know that we will never overachieve our own self-image. Confidence grows through action and lessons, experience, wisdom, not knowledge, wisdom and faith that will shorten the distance of resistance, not through endless participation, preparation, and worry. Worry weakens our confidence, and our confidence indicates how we utilize the frequency, the high frequency of excitement. Confidence will grow through wisdom and faith to shorten that distance of resistance, not through endless preparation, meaningless boulder pushing. Don't get so busy working, you forget to make money. Don't get so busy working, you forget to spend time with your family. Don't get so busy working, you forget to take care of yourself. Remind, remember, and reflect on the failures, the mistakes, the setbacks, the defining moments in historical relevance where you are successfully handling uncertainty and the lessons that you've learned. Expand your self-image. Take small actions that build momentum and ease and reinforce the excitement through confidence. Understanding how long we go. If you would like the shortening of distance through wisdom and faith exercise. If you would like the shortening of distance between wisdom and faith exercise, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Our last lesson for these 28 years of Friday trainings started on October 11th, 28 years ago. Worry actually prevents us from the most valuable present that God has given us. Worry prevents us from being present. When our attention and intention is constantly on a future of uncertainty, we will lose the ability to fully engage in the present moment, to do it now and do it next. And this is where our real influence exists. Our real power exists, which power is infinite, force is not. Force is linear, it creates counterforce and resistance. But our true power exists within the context of fully engaging in the present. That is God's gift. Being present in the 24-hour gift that he gives us every day of our life, except for the last day. We spend time anticipating future problems instead of investing our attention and our intention of what we're doing today, thinking today, saying today, feeling today, believing today, in our current relativity associations and feeding our current relationships, options, opportunities, and touches of favor, and even our responsibility, attraction, and perception to learn lessons that will keep on coming until you learn them. The future is shaped by what we pay attention to and what we give intention to by doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing today, not the fears, the interference we rehearse in our minds in the future or in the past. When we focus in on doing it now, on the task at hand, the conversation at hand, the opportunity at hand, these things directly in front of us, we will be more efficient, effective, and statistically successful. We need to develop the skills, the knowledge, and the desire to habitually help us, ground us in the present. Things that we can do like journaling and reflection and remembrance and recollection and even intentional planning, having non-negotiable time to have the study of time and relativity, to plan the usage of time and study that as well. It is worrying itself that interferes, but it is also worrying that prevents us from being present, which is the present of utilization of the present of the 24 hours that we're given every day of our life, except for the last day. If you would like the stay present exercise to help you not attached to outcomes, to not say, I'll be happy when, but instead for the sake of what, and utilizing your behaviors to study time and relativity, to stay present and to live life in the present, engaged. Just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Worrying is a duplicative negative. It's not only interfering with everything that you desire, but it's wishing for what you don't want. Worrying interferes with our energy. Worrying reduces the space, the mental space for our innovations and creativity. 1,000 times the energy to open a closed mind than to innovate and create with an open one. Worrying actually distorts our perception of our timing and risk tolerance. Worrying delays our decisions. Be Tom Brady. Be the best game time decision maker. Worrying also weakens the value of our confidence. Don't be fearful. Be excited. Dissipate the worry that weakens our confidence. Lesson 6, worry prevents us from being present. Worry is a duplicative negative. It's interfering with your best self, with God, and wishing for what you don't want. Worrying is a natural response to uncertainty, and uncertainty exists every moment of the day. But when it becomes excessive, when you spend days, weeks, months, and years worrying about the shortages, the mistakes, the defining moments, the voids, the obstacles, the struggles, instead, when it becomes excessive, it quietly limits our ability to create, accelerate, compound, and aggregate progress. The hidden cost of worry. The hidden cost of worry is not just emotional discomfort. It is the interference of the infinite intuition, intelligence, inspiration, and energy, the creativity and innovations, the opportunities and the options and the touches of favor that we lose when our attention and intention is consumed by imagined problems that don't exist. Stop wishing for them. When we redirect our attention and intention towards the actions of doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing for the solutions, the products, the services that we desire to provide value to others, we will regain clarity and harmony, the ease that creates the momentum, the progress towards what we desire in our divine direction, or even better. The future will always contain uncertainty. That's a certainty. It's what we do with it every 24 hours that we're guaranteed, except for the last day of our life, that matters. Our success will always be shaped by how we choose to act today when we are uncertain. Shorten the distance of resistance with worry. Reduce it. Stop, drop, and roll. And live a life of perception, of positivity through gratitude, of ease through forgiveness, of accountability through being responsible, attracting and participating in that perception and learning from it, so that you can live in spirit, inspired by effectively communicating with your God, with something bigger than you, that's omniscient, all powerful, and all knowing, that loves you, protects you, and promotes you more than your mom, an infinite, abundant, unified system of thought that allows you to manifest everything you desire or better. This has been the Hidden Cost of Worry training. If you would like it, or any of the exercises previously mentioned, david@dmeltzer.com. David means beloved. @D is my first initial. Meltzer is servant. david@dmeltzer.com. Please order Don't Do Business with Dicks. If you do, let me know. Email me, david@dmeltzer.com. You don't got to prove it to me. I trust you. I'll send you my other books, guides, exercises, training. That's right, for free. I'll pay for shipping, pay for the book. I just want to empower you to empower others to be happy, to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun, and stop worrying. All right, my friend, it's time for the Nick of Wham to close this out here in the fourth quarter. Nick of Wham, my well-oiled machine, please reset the room and let's take a little Q&A. What do you say?
Absolutely. And thank you, David, for an incredible first three quarters, the hidden costs of worry training. And as a reminder for everybody, make sure you get the guided exercise from today's training by emailing David directly, david@dmeltzer.com. And now as we open it up for Q&A, for all of our friends that are joining us online, make sure to put your questions into the chat. And for all of our friends here in the Breakfast with Champions, the best room and community on Clubhouse, if you are in the audience, please use the hand icon to request to join the stage and we will bring you up. Of course, if you are already on stage and have a question for David today, please just put a quick note in the room chat and I will be happy to pass the mic over your way. Now, as we quite literally knock on the door of what is the fourth quarter, I'm going to open up Q&A by passing it over to Mr. Brian Swift. Mr. Swift, it's always good to see you here, my friend. Happy Friday. Now, mute yourself and kick us off with the first question of the day.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Dave, I find one of the most profound statements, and I'm guilty of, is that worry disguises itself as preparation. And it's such a lie we tell ourselves. And one of the things that really helps me, and you mentioned it, action. You've got to take action. And for me, it's having faith that God is moving me in a divine direction, so I can be present now. Can you talk to that?
Yeah, look, first of all, understanding a divine direction compared to attachment of goals or outcomes. If you're attached to goals or outcomes, the evidence that appears today will never get you to where you want to be or better. The evidence will be contrary or non-existence to where you want to be or better. So if you're attached to an outcome or think that you know what you want, I'll be happy when I make my first million, 10 million, 100 million, you'll never get there or better. But a divine direction is focusing in on the present behaviors in a devotional way, not a disciplined way. Discipline does not have direction. Devotion has divine direction. And so when we understand that worrying is just a stall mechanism for those people that are attached to an outcome and doesn't see any evidence, or the evidence is contrary to where they want to be, and that stall mechanism disguises itself as preparation. Well, I worried about it for 8 hours today, so I'm just preparing for the worst because I'm attached to an emotion that I don't believe, think, say, do, and feel that I'm going to get to. Instead of the person that says, I'm going to do, say, think, feel, and believe for the sake of making a lot of money, helping a lot of people, and having a lot of fun. And creating progress through shortening the distance of resistance that created when anxiety is reacting to the uncertainty that exists, which is usually created by no evidence or the evidence contrary to where I think I want to be or better. And so that relationship in perception and the utilization of attention and intention to create the coincidences, the coinciding of the infinite, abundant, unified system that we previously mentioned, is the divinity, and why faith is so important, and why it's half of the equation to shorten the distance of resistance. Because faith and wisdom, it dissolves worry.
Absolutely love it, gentlemen. And your whole team, David, you are a bright star on a dark night, and I love being a part of it. Thank you so much.
We love you being a part of it. And anyone else wants to join Brian and the rest of the crew, we do have our Monday networking group where I give one-on-one coaching and one-on-one introductions every Monday. And then we have our private group helping each other and knowing people to help each other every single day. So come and join us. If you'd like to join us, email nick@dmeltzer.com. He will get you right in our group. And if you don't believe us, talk to the thousands of people that belong to the group. Guaranteed value, quantitative value. You got nothing to lose, except for if you can't afford it or you're not going to be engaged, you won't join us. All right, cool. Thank you. Nick of Guam.
May I say something?
Yes.
If everybody, listen, I am getting involved I'm old, but I'm still learning. I had this exact conversation with my daughter this morning, and I realized I lived a lot of my life. I did not have the opportunity to have this opportunity to hear somebody like you. So I think if everybody could follow your program, worry is something we learn, and something, it's a habit. And Mark Twain said habits cannot be thrown out the window. They have to be walked down the step, one step at a time. And at this age, I'm still trying to learn. As I said, having a conversation. I have a family that is extraordinary, but we worry and we don't think. And if we could eliminate worry, which you're absolutely right, the years in my lifetime that I've spent worrying did me no good, did the person or the thing I was worrying about no good. But I absolutely think everybody should not only listen to you, but do a deep dive into what you're saying, because this is how one person can change the world. One person changing, one person changing. So I appreciate you and think you should have, I don't know, you are doing the right thing. Thank you.
God bless you and thank you. And yes, I'm here on a mission to find 1,000 people like you, to empower 1,000 people like your daughter, to empower 1,000 more people, which is 1,000 times 1,000, a million times 1,000, a billion. We can change the world together, one person at a time. It is the wisdom of our friends that come on to the Breakfast of Champion to help to secure ours. Please join our group. We would love it. Nick of Guam, who's up next?
Absolutely. For our next question of the day, we're going to pass it over to the Meltzer double, Mr. Eric Meltzer, and then we have Darren, who is on stage and on deck. But Mr. Meltzer, as in Eric Meltzer, why don't you unmute yourself and keep us rolling with the next question of the day?
Cool. Thank you so much, Dave.
You got it, brother.
My question, this was brilliant. My question to you is, how can people around me in my life is there anything that people around me in my life can do to support me to help reduce the worry and the friction of worry? Is there any way, or how can people be supportive around me? Thank you.
Well, it's not people being supportive around you. It's you surrounding yourself with supported people. That's what Don't Do Business with Dicks is about. Ditching the toxicity and aligning yourself with positive influences. So stop trying to figure out how people around you can support you and surround yourself with supporting people. People that don't elevate, escalate the interference between you and your potential. Instead, they support you, helping you develop the skills, the knowledge, and increasing your desire, inspiring you to do so. So many people have that exact same question. That's why I wrote the book, Don't Do Business with Dicks. It's not, you don't find it, right? You surround yourself with the people to support. You don't get people to support you. So what I want you to do is ditch the people that aren't supportive, that create anxiety, that interfere with your potential, that aren't aligned with the positive influences that you desire, and find yourself some new friends. If you show me your friends, I'll show you your future. I know all 4 of my kids just cringed. I haven't said that in a while, but I'm gonna say it again. If you show me your friends, I will show you your future. Used to be a daily comment of mine to my kids. Now it's I love you, I'm proud of you, and I always have your back. All right, Eric, go find me some friends.
David, can I have an important question?
No, Nick, we promised somebody else. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Take your turn. Thank you.
Thank you for being my friend, Dave.
Oh, I am, and brother, I am here to help to remove that toxicity.
Thank you so much.
I love you, Eric Meltzer. Even though you're not blood related, I love you like a brother.
Thank you. I love you, David. Thank you.
These Meltzers got to quit sleeping with each other. Got to get different names in the family. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, we got Darren Brown here on stage, patiently waiting.
D. Brown.
Good to see you, Darren. Feel free to unmute yourself and keep us rolling with the next question.
Hey, Dave, how you doing, man? I'm a huge fan of everything you do. I love it. I think I speak on behalf of everyone here. I'll make it quick. So I guess my question is when you say like over worry, right? When everything's like, falling apart and, stuff is really hitting the fan, like how do you have like a plan, or like how do you think through just not worrying? Is it like, okay, what's like the steps, or how do you break it down so that you're able to, effectively implement what you're saying and not just, be overwhelmed? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So let me shift the paradigm in your perspective. So what we want to do is look for the clues and the patterns that we get into that create worrying, that create the interference between us and where we want to be or better. And so what I teach people to do is to elevate their awareness to when they're worried, that when they're worried, their mind, body, and soul are on fire. And so when we're on fire, when we see the clues, the patterns, we make choices when we're worrying, and we want to make the right choices. As Jim Quick always says, right? Life exists between birth and death, B and D, with the C, the choices that we make. And so when we're making the choices that are based upon not being on fire when we're making those choices, the simple paradigm shift is when I worry, do not try to logic or analyze it or keep on worrying, out-worrying it, going over it, under it, through it, around it, lying to it, cheating, manipulating, denying it. Just stop. When you worry, the only action to take is stop, breathe, drop, recollect, remind, remember who you're connected to and through, and your divine direction that you want to be in or better. And so when we worry and we see the clues, patterns, we make the choice not to go over it, under it, through it, around it, resist it, lie to it, cheat it, manipulate it, deny it. But instead, we just stop. We drop, we breathe, recollect, remind, remember our divine, empowered being, the infinite, abundant, unified system that we belong to. And then we roll into that divine direction. So shift the paradigm. Don't over logic it, out analyze it, out prepare for it, feel overwhelmed. But stop, drop, and roll when your mind, body, and soul are on fire. Stop, drop, and roll. When we worry. And I promise you, you will shorten that distance of resistance. You will gain the wisdom and increase your faith to shorten that distance of resistance to get you to where you want to be or better. D. Brown, does that sound fair?
Hey, thanks so much, Dave. You know, as an engineer, I'm overly analytical sometimes.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that, man. Thank you.
I got it, brother. We got that same side of the brain working for us and against us as usual. Force and counter force. Nick and Juan, we got time for one more question.
Absolutely. We got Marco Antonio, who's locked, loaded, and ready to rock and roll. So, Marco, my friend, happy Friday. Why don't you unmute yourself and conclude us with the final question of the day?
Happy Friday, Nick. Happy Friday, Dave and community. Thank you. I appreciate it. Dave, you mentioned that quarterbacks have this unique ability to process things quickly and do it now. Can you just share, based off your perception, how can we clear that interference to acquire that skill of processing better game time decisions so we could do it ourselves?
That's where the non-negotiable behavior and prioritization come in. So I'd encourage you to get those exercises from me, which is david@dmeltzer.com, david@dmeltzer.com. And those exercises will help you to understand that what I pay attention and give intention to consistently, every day, persistently, without quit, in the pursuit of that potential that I have, that big win that I want or desire or better. And so why quarterbacks can do that, why they make game time decision makings, is because they are preparing with an open mind, not worrying about the game. They are in non-negotiable behavior, minimum amount of time every day, throwing passes, catching passes, watching film, getting tape, whatever it is, in preparation of, but they're not worried about the game. They're not worried about, Crosby smashing them from blindside. They're not worried about it. They're worried about hitting their receivers. Have a great day, you guys. Love you. All right. Okay. They're not. They're preparing through non-negotiable behavior. They're saying, okay, for a minimum of an hour a day, I'm going to work out. For a minimum hour a day, I'm going to watch film. For a minimum of an hour, 7 days a week. You see, they're not the extra milers going the extra mile every once in a while. Tom Brady doesn't go the extra mile every once in a while. He has a minimum amount of time that he pays attention and gives intention to the behaviors that are best going to prepare him to win, so that he can make better decisions faster. Those are the people that win, the people who make better decisions faster. And when we make better decisions defined by the lessons we learn and the trajectory or divine direction in which we want to be in, according to what we want, not what other people want, not what's missing, not what social media wants for us, but what we want. And so you have to learn the non-negotiable behaviors and the prioritized mechanism. I will give you both of those exercises. David@dmeltzer.com. Thank you for being part of our team, Marco Antonio. Thank you for showing up. Everybody, I've been doing and showing up for 28 years every single week. Wow, we are moving and grooving. Nick of Guam, it's time for you to close out Clubhouse. I'll take care of the rest.
Sounds like a beautiful plan, and thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. This has been the Hidden Cost of Worry training. If you'd like the exercises or guides, if you'd like my book, if you bought Don't Do Business with Dicks, I'll send you the rest of my books, david@dmeltzer.com. David@dmeltzer.com. Sign it, send it to you. Pay for shipping, pay for the book. Don't worry, I'll pay for everything. I just want to empower you to empower others to be happy. All right, where are we going to be? The car wash is holding court meetups, interviews, speeches, included in all of the different activities outside of the car wash. In Orange County, we have a mastermind plus, and VIP dinner. You're invited, not obligated to all of these things. Orange County Mastermind plus car wash. Season 10 of Office Hours in Las Vegas in the Wynn plus car wash. New York City plus car wash. New Jersey VIP dinner plus car wash. Phoenix with the professional athlete community plus car wash. The Masters Mastermind, nobody else does it, plus car wash. Back to Phoenix for Aspire Business Tour plus car wash. Back to SoFi Stadium plus car wash. That's how you get to 200 cities a year or more. If you want to be invited or informed, join our text community. 949-298-2905. If you'd like to be invited to all of these things or informed of all of these things, area code 949, next 3 numbers 298, last 4 numbers 2905. And join our text community. Join our group on Monday. Come and be a part of our community. We are going to change the world together, only if you remember to be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. Hit it, Gigi.
Welcome to Office Hours, hosted by legendary sports executive, entrepreneur, and investor David Meltzer, where the brightest entrepreneurial minds in business, sports, and entertainment get together to talk about success, failure, and everything in between.
At the end of the day, man, we've got to condition ourselves to make the right choices and give us the power over the external circumstances instead of the external circumstances having power over us.
And once you do that, you start to figure out, hey, I can do this, and maybe I can do this, and then your self-esteem grows.
The truth is, change can be hard, growth can be scary, but nothing is as hard and scary as being stuck somewhere you don't belong.
Take a deep dive into the mind of some of the world's most impactful guests.
Growth doesn't come by talking a lot. Growth comes by listening, by learning, by being curious.
You'll upgrade your knowledge, your skills, your habits, and you'll upgrade your beliefs, so that you believe that you can do this.
You will succeed. You just have to believe in yourself and never stop trying.
To share their strategies and tools to dominate their respective fields.
The most important thing is really to work on yourself. It all starts and work on your mind.
And I said, if you can get 1% better every day, by the end of the month, you have 33%. Tell me a business you can earn 33% a month. So it's a great investment.
I'm not attached to my career, my notoriety, my financial success. I'm not attached to it. I have no self-worth tied up in Gary Vee or Gary Vaynerchuk, the entrepreneur. My self-worth is fully and utterly 100% attached to how I treat human beings.
Issue where you save time is that if you really know your why, right, then why are you doing it? Are you doing a career because your parents said that's what success is?
David Meltzer hosts Office Hours.